Yo, yo, yo. I'm back. Okay. Hopefully this is better. Hopefully the mic is better. I'm not using my AirPods this time. So I kind of want to hear from my side how it's sounding because I didn't really like the audio. Let's see. Yo, I'm back. Okay. Oh, it sounds way better. Okay, the audio sounds way better. Okay. Just to have it on the other side just so I could hear myself. I sound perfect. I sound real good. I don't sound very staticky. That's what it sounded like with the AirPods. Took them off because I didn't like the way they sounded. But yeah, so we're back again with we're gonna talk about the Old Testament in general, specifically slavery in the Bible. But before I start, I'm gonna give more people time to join. But I will be doing our daily verse. We got to start off the streams off right. Can't be led by the flesh. Can't. So the reading is Rome. Oh, I keep forgetting. Let's share the screen. Let's do that. So the word of today is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. So if you guys want to join us for the daily Bible verse, Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Everything looks real good. Everything looks like it's in real time. All right. It says, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that is good and acceptable in the perfect will of God. So the scriptures tell us not to be conformed by the things of this world. Ooh, voice cracked. We definitely want to give people some time to join. So the word of today is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Word of the day. All right, perfect. So we're gonna live stream for about an hour until depending which, if you're Pacific time, Central time, or Eastern Standard Time. We will be talking about slavery in the Bible. I do have notes and things like that. Instead of actually reading Bible verses, today we're going to actually take a look. Like, you guys are going to be studying with me and how I study. And when it comes to the topic about slavery in the Bible, I have some books that I want to go over, books that I want to read. And that's one thing I do have to fix. I don't know why it does that. The camera, which I'm using my phone. Um, Hopefully it could work. All right, so I don't know why it does that. I will get that fixed, just like how I got the audio fixed. I will get the camera fixed. I don't know why it does that. And thank you, Sarah, for showing love. I appreciate you always try to help the channel with the algorithm and things like that. And the algorithm is definitely needed. I appreciate it. Greatly appreciated. Share the link with somebody. I'm gonna start sharing my YouTube link to my threads because I get a lot of, I guess, back and forth on threads, and I know I would get a lot of opposing sides, but I want to get believers as well because I know believers probably have question about slavery in the Bible or even the Old Testament in general, like how to read the Old Testament, how to understand the Old Testament. I'm no scholar, but I am a student, and a student regurgitates what they learn, and I regurgitate what I learn, and I definitely want to keep people educated because you never stop being a learner. The moment you feel like you can't learn something is the moment you think you're a know-it-all, and I definitely don't know it all. I may know the topic real well, but not a know-it-all. Yo, why is it? I'm actually gonna try to fix this right now. Let's Let me try to fix this. Hold up. Hold up. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe I could probably try doing a reaction maybe next tomorrow. But yeah, I need to fix that. If it happens again, I'll fix it. But let me share my screen. Uh, we're gonna take a look at some books. We're gonna try to understand slavery in the Bible because we want to understand the context. So one of the books I have is Human Rights and Deuteronomy. There you go. All right. This is definitely a good book right here. That's what I heard. It's about 260 pages. And let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. And also, I will put the stream link. Let me remove and let me get the stream link just in case somebody want to join up. Copy. It did that same foolishness again. All right. I'm going to actually turn off my camera. All right. Definitely weird. All right. So Deuteronomy chapter 15. I'm just gonna take off my face because they keep doing that glitch stuff. All right, so let's try to find specifically what we're looking for. Um, oh, we could definitely look at the Leviticus 25. That's probably the most controversial, and that's the one that I'm studying as of right now. So we're gonna actually take a look at the book is called. I want to go back up and go back to the book so you guys could see it. So you guys could take a screenshot, read along with me. Yo, did it not? Okay. Reading. Wow. Okay, it didn't. Okay, let's type it back up again. Human rights and Deuteronomy. All right. And we're actually going to go to this chapter regarding Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12 to 18, and Leviticus chapter 25, verse 39 to 55. I'm actually going to read Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12 to 18. Uh, Deuteronomy. Okay. 15. 12 to 18. It says, if your brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you and serves you 6 years, then in the seventh year you shall let him go free from you. And when you send him away free from you, you shall not let him go away empty handed. You shall supply him liberally for your flock, from your threshing floor, and from your winepress, and from what the Lord your God has blessed you with. You shall give to him. You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. Therefore, I command you this thing today. And if it happens that he says to you, I will not go away from you, because he loves you in your house, since he prospers with you, then you shall take an awl, thrust it through his ear to the door, and he shall go be your servant forever. And as to your female servant, you shall do likewise. It should not seem hard to you when you send him away free from you, for he has been worth a double hired servant and serving you 6 years. Then the Lord your God will bless you in all that you do. All right. So we got the reading of that. So let's go back to that. So this is what Daisy says. Here, the nature of how long the status of a Hebrew perpetual slave could be retained is examined. Also, one thing I do want to let you guys know that just because you read these scholars, they're all going to have different opinions. You may not agree with them, you may agree with them, but that's just the way scholarship is, where you'll have people you agree with, people you disagree with, but they have little nuggets in there that you could literally understand the opposing view and know where they're coming from and how to address them and how they're making leaps and logic or they're not connecting the bridge. So let's continue to read. At the outset, both Deuteronomy 15 and Exodus 21 provide no further clues on this matter. Rabbinic interpretations often bring in Leviticus 25 and discussion of permanent slavery. The perpetuity may mean that the new term of service end at the next Jubilee year, as prescribed in Leviticus 25, or at the death of the master, whichever comes first. According to Milgram, rab- rabbis also indicate that with regard to Exodus 21, we also like to look at footnotes. Footnotes is actually very important because it doesn't have it again. Maybe I got to save the book because maybe I'm not saving the book. Yeah. Okay. Have to type that thing again. Like I said, if anybody wants to request up, they sure can. They can request up. But yeah, like I said, we just reading today. We just reading. We just reading. Gotta look at the book. That's the book. Oh, okay, there you go. So it's 430. All right, 430. All right. So this is where they get it from. Is this relevant in my studies? Levi's discussion the professor they may mean that new terms. No, it's not relevant, at least in the part aspect I know, because I already know about this. But according to Milgram, rabbis also indicate that with regard to Exodus 21 and Leviticus 25, two different kinds of slave servitude are in view. 7 years if if he's sold by the court, Exodus 21, and 50 years if he sells himself. So I see that they're so she's given an opinion of a rabbi, and this rabbi opinion is that if you were sold by the court, you'll work for 7 years. But if you sell yourself, it'll be 50 years. I don't necessarily agree with that. Maybe I have to look in that in depth because now as I think about it, what happens? Like, why would somebody serve 50 years? And this is just me thinking out loud. This is kind of how like I read, I think out loud, get my thoughts. But one thing that I'm thinking about right now is that I think a person normally was work 7 years, but 7 years is like the max. Like if you're paying off your debt, you could probably pay off your debt in less than 7 years. You could probably do it in a couple of months or maybe a year or two, right? 7 years is like the max. Like if you don't pay it off, like 7 years is your max. And I feel like you don't work 50 years because I think the 50th year is just saying the year that you're free. So I don't necessarily agree, or maybe I'm not understanding what he's saying, but I'm pretty sure I think I do. Ironically, in a source critical perspective, Leviticus 25 seems to speak for the opposite view that Leviticus 25 is regarded as sophisticated citation and lammatic reworking of Deuteronomy. Oh, I don't think I. Let me do a little. I'm about to do a little word dictionary. Define. Ah, okay. Doesn't have it. Okay. Um, let's. This is how we learn here. This is how we learn. This is how we learn. Lemmatic. Uh, okay. There's one meaning entry to lemmatic. C meaning used. Earliest known, what is well, if you guys know what this word means, hey, let me know down below because I'm trying to find it. The man is borrowed from Greek combined with English elements. Let's check the etymology of the word. Oh, let's look meaning and use. There you go. Ah, I got to do that another time. But we'll save this as a word that I don't know. There we go. Put in green. Question mark, question mark, question mark. A comparison of Leviticus 25 and Deuteronomy 15 shows some common elements. They adopt similar linguistic features. Your brother, the Nephal, be sold, and the second person addresses. They both deal with the impoverishment and use the Exodus experience as a motivation for treating the debtor humanely. I definitely agree with this that throughout the law, God has the tendency of reminding the Israelites what they went through and that they shouldn't treat their neighbors like that. They should treat them better than the way they were treated. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Let's actually look at the little footnote 433. It says Van Cedar's a law book for the diaspora, 8384. Law of the Hebrew slave. Is it a necessary let's see, and the use of the motivation? I'm pretty sure I'm aware of that. Maybe I could just save it if I want to add an extra nugget to it. With these similarities, scholars have been drawn to establishing literary dependence between Leviticus 25 and Deuteronomy 15 ever since I'm never going to try to butcher his name. Literary analysis, the scholarly consensus is that H, literary and conceptual dependence upon D, is most evident in Leviticus chapter 17, chapter 23 and 25, I'm pretty sure. The slave law in Leviticus 25 has its closest parallels with Exodus 21, verse 2 through 6, and Exodus chapter 23, verse 10 to 11, as well as Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1 through 11, and Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12 to 18. Yet further examination also show that the difference between Leviticus 25 and Deuteronomy 15 point to the opposite direction, which has perplexed scholars of biblical comparative legal studies. There exist at least three major problems on which scholars have not yet been able to reach a consensus. So you guys hear that? You see how people be quick to say, "Oh, the Bible says this, confirm." Let's just read it and understand. One, the two passages regulate the terms for the debt servitude in different lengths, 6 years versus 49 years. Two, Leviticus 25 may refer to a different kind of debt servitude from that in Deuteronomy 15, Exodus 21, we're well aware of that, or we at least should be. And Leviticus 25 appears to supersede its precursors, for it allows acquiring slaves only from foreigners. Yes, and I think that's really the main reason people have Leviticus 25 because it says you could buy slaves from the nations that are around you, and on surface level, I could see how that could be a problem. I'm a very realistic person. So the different lengths of the term in Leviticus 25, it looked like a Bible study today, or just reading along with me today. But this is, I just want to be authentic, just reading along with you guys. This is how I do my studies. I may not read out loud, but this is how I can conduct my studies. So yeah. If a Hebrew slave would be free every seventh year, why is there a need for the regulation for the release of the year of Jubilee? Historically, various approaches have attempted to answer this question with the various conjectures. I'm gonna be honest. I always seem like the year of Jubilee, like for example, right? If you became a slave, let's just say in the 47th year, right? And you're paying off your debt when the 50th year arrived, even though you worked for 3 years, that person's debt's supposed to be cleared up, right? That's how I always envisioned it or imagined it. So I guess scholars differ. They actually think that somebody will have to work 7 years, then another person 50th year. I don't know how in the context they believe that, but I guess that's just their train of thinking. Even though I believe they could just take the text literally. Let's actually read Leviticus. Yeah, the year Jubilee. And you shall count 7 Sabbaths of the year for yourself, 7 times 7 years, and the time of 7 Sabbaths of years shall be to you 49 years. Then you shall cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month, on the day of atonement. You shall make the trumpet to sound throughout all your land, and you shall consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land to all its inhabitants, and it shall be a jubilee for you. And each of you shall return to his possession, and each of you shall return to his family. The 50th year you shall be a jubilee to you. It you shall neither sow nor reap what grows on its own accord, nor gather grapes of your untended vine. Um, for it is a jubilee. It shall be holy to you. You shall eat its produce from the field. So you guys get the gist of it. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So we got SR Driver suggests that it is to reform the older laws in Deuteronomy, which might have proved to be impractical and unenforceable. Uh, I would have to disagree. I don't necessarily agree to reform the older laws, but Deuteronomy comes after Leviticus, so don't know his train of thoughts. Maybe I could kind of see where he's coming from. Doesn't necessarily make sense, but what's his driver? A critical and exegetical commentary on Deuteronomy. How she's using the quote Daisy? I don't think she's probably using the quote correctly. Let's see. SR Driver suggests that it's to reform order laws in Deuteronomy, which might be provided to be impractical and unenforceable. Okay, let me go. Let me go look up SR Driver. All right. SR Driver. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. I have to find out a different thing then. Probably see if I can find a PDF for it. But we'll just save it. We'll just save it. Purple. All right. E. Ginsburg is convinced that this is to help the rich by providing a longer and steady supply of labor. Oh, okay, yeah, that's just foolish. I meant, oof, Mendelsohn. Hmm, interesting name. Proposes that Leviticus 25 deals with a different social circumstance that leads one into slavery, i.e., Exodus 21 and Deuteronomy 15. Speaks of those who are forced into service, while the debtors of Leviticus 25 sell themselves into bondage. I kind of like three. Three seems like more of like my train of thought and thinking of what I think. Um, Lamich interprets the term. I'm guessing, I don't know Hebrew yet, guys, so I don't necessarily know what that is. Don't, but we'll save it though, because we don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, at least. As the manumission year, the year of release, or something otherwise similar. Consequently, there may be a connection between the celebration of the sabbatical year every 7th year and the year, I'm guessing, Jubilee. In this view, a service period lasting up to 50 years would mean lifelong slavery, and the offer of manumission would accordingly be nominal. CJH Wright assumes that the Hebrew in Exodus 21 and Deuteronomy 15 is a class of landless people who supported themselves by working for others, while an Israelite in Leviticus 25 has patrimony, but due to debts, he has to submit himself to be a hired labor. Mm. See, you see how? Well, let me actually go back to the full screen real quick. Let's go back to the full screen. Yes. So you see how like this is interesting. Like I find this very interesting, very intriguing because you know why? Like if you go back to it, let me share my screen. Oh, wrong one. Okay. So what I'm taking from here is that he believed that there's two different kinds of like slaveries. Like you have like the one of seven years and the one of 50 years. And the one for 7 year, you're a landless individual who is just working for somebody. While an Israelite in Leviticus 25 has patrimony, but due to debts, he has to submit himself to be a higher laborer. So there's two distinct. So we have to read this in light of each other. Sometimes these things coexist with each other. Um, definitely CJH Wright and I. Renaissance. Ooh, yep. GC Cherachino, so Gregory Cherachino indicates that possibly that Leviticus may be trying to introduce a new kind of family member sold into servitude. For him, Exodus 21 and Deuteronomy 15 refers to a family dependent sold by his or her father, whereas Leviticus 25 speaks of a pater familias, the head of the household selling himself into debt service and thus must be treated as a resident alien and a hired worker. That's right. Building on Cherachino's suggestion, A. Schinker, hopefully I'm saying his name correctly, believes that Leviticus 25 is meant to be a supplement to Exodus 21 and Deuteronomy 15. Exodus 21 and Deuteronomy 15 focus on unmarried cases, while Leviticus 25 complements them with the regulation for married Israelites who have male children. Among these views, Wright and Cherachino also ascribe the different lengths of term to diverse social classes or family roles, have been shown to be unconvincing in Chapter 2. I'm just going to say M, distinction of forced and voluntary slavery, and Hartley's classification of individual and chronic types of debtors are groundless. Lemaitre reading of, I'm assuming of the word jubilee or slavery or that. I know Greek better than I know Hebrew, so don't necessarily know what this is. Figure that out. As a manumission year is also implausible, given that Leviticus chapter 25, verse 8 and 10 has defined the as the 50th year. I'm pretty sure Jubilee. Yeah, most likely. To resolve the deadlock, I want to see if they're going to talk about the specific passage. There you go. Okay. It seems like we're getting to the passage because I really want to talk about like the harsh passage that people don't like. That's the kind of stuff that I tend to like. The difficult things, the thing that people don't want to talk about because if you don't talk about it, somebody else will. And yeah. So it looks like it's starting in this paragraph. It says, therefore, there should be no perpetual separation from one's land and family, but only impoverishment on account of debt will temporarily lead a man to become alienated from his land and family, and eventually to the enslavement of the entire family. This idea is illustrated by the three successive stages of destitution. Yeah, I don't know the three stages of destitution. Yeah, I'm cooked. All right, let's see. The relationship between legal, corrupt, corrupt. Oh, see, look, guys, it's okay to not know words, okay? Corpora. And the Pentateuch in light of the manumission laws. Who's it from? Let's see. We're gonna actually just say. Oh. So as we continue to read, he's going to talk about like those. He says, "Are even worse to the foreigners" of verse 47 to 55. I can't wait till we get. Let's actually see if we can find it. Because we want controversial passages. Controversial. All right, this is saying the type of debt slaves. I don't want to talk about the type of debt slaves. I want to talk about. I want to talk about what we need to talk about. The acquisition of permanent slaves. There you go. This is the passage that everybody has a hard time with. Due to the negation of Israelite slaves in Leviticus chapter 25, verse 42, some scholars, Nehan Levinson and Lucher, have challenged that this is a prohibition to acquire a Hebrew brother as a slave. However, Leviticus chapter 25, verse 42 does not forbid acquiring a Hebrew brother as a debt slave, but presents an idea that no Israelite will be sold as a slave if his fellows could have provided assistance in time. Therefore, the threefold repetition of admonishment in verse 43, 46, and 53 highlights what it highlights the significance of the prohibition one shall not rule over him with hardness. It reminds the master to treat his Hebrew slave with kindness. The Israelite could become a slave in status, but could not be treated like a slave or corvée. Definitely don't think that's a Hebrew word. Definitely don't think that is. Definitely will highlight it and we'll take a look at it afterwards. Orange. No. It's supposed to be yellow. S. Japhet, okay, which we just talked about, remarks that the slave law of Leviticus 25 mirrors the land law, just as only the use. Ooh, I don't know that word. That's okay. I don't know a lot of words. Let's see. No, I'm a student to the game. Student to the game. I'm a student first and teacher later. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, see, look. Don't you just love when you can't find the words in a dictionary? All right, let's don't you just usufruct. The right to enjoy the use and advantages of another's property short of the destruction or waste of its substance. So you're taking advantage of somebody pretty much. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay. Like I said, we student of the game, student of the game. All right, where we left off at. Okay, of the land, but not the land itself may be sold. Only the labor of the Israelite, not the Israelite himself, may be sold. Israelite slaves are merely nominal slaves, as Milgram concedes that the Israelite slave is not a slave. So, hey, for the people who think Israelite slaves are slaves, they specifically say we have scholars saying they are not slaves. The concept that an Israelite permanent slave is the master's property should be redressed. An Israelite slave should never be treated as property per se, but only as belonging to Yahweh. As a result, Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44 to 46 clarifies that if one wants to possess permanent slaves as their inherited property, that may be bequeathed to his children. He can acquire aliens or the sojourners among Israel. Now we're getting to the good part. Milgram asserts that the assumption here is that the alien is a chattel slave, not a debt slave. All right, let's see how they use in this world chattel. So 472. I definitely got to read her book. If you guys liking the stream, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And if you guys like stuff like this or things like this, let me know. I could do more things like this because I'm constantly in a mode of learning. All right. Where did I leave off at? All right. Milgram asserts that the assumption here is that the alien is a chattel slave, not a debt slave, which is confirmed by the verb purchase. I think I talked about this. However, Milgram's interpretation is incorrect. For Exodus 21 uses the same verb to express the purchase of the Hebrew debt slave. Wow. Let's see if this is true. The word purchase, and let's see if it's used in Exodus 21. Because we just don't want to believe everyone just because they say something that's appealing to us. We gotta be authentic and real. So let's go to because this actually will mean a lot. Let's see. Because the word purchase right here is the word buy right here, just for the people who don't know. So let's take a look at it. Did I go past it? Okay, there we go. The word kana. Okay, let's go. It's Exodus 21. If it's the case, then wow. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and the 7th he shall go out free to pay nothing. So you could buy a Hebrew servant. So are they say Wow. Okay, let's. I'm actually kind of excited because this actually goes into our favor. I want to finish read what this author says, and I'm gonna give my own spin on it and how I think they're saying or what she's trying to say, because this could actually be groundbreaking. Because when they see the word purchase, they automatically think chattel slave, but we already established that Milgram, the scholar, this is why I say you could find little loopholes into these scholars' mind or ways of thinking, is that slavery, they agreed that Exodus 21 is about debt servitude. It's not about like chattel slavery. But then she goes around and says chattel slavery because the assumption of the word purchase, right? We're gonna be fair to Milgram, and we're gonna actually check her commentary on Leviticus chapter 23, verse 27. I'm assuming that's 2,230 pages. Hope not. That's not the case. Because if it's that, got a lot of digging to do. But yeah, this is actually exciting. Very exciting. However, Milgram's interpretation is incorrect. For Exodus 21 uses the if you guys don't know where I'm at, I'm just gonna keep this right here so you guys see, which is confirmed by the verb purchase. However, Milgram's interpretation is incorrect. For Exodus 21 uses the same verb to express the purchase of the Hebrew debt slave. Here, the significance lies in the verbal expression. The hith. Yeah, I do not know this, and it's okay, guys, not to know stuff. Don't make nobody feel bad because you don't know something. I don't know a lot of things. The hith. How would I pronounce it? The Hithafel form, I could be saying it wrong, is an intensive reflexive stem, often signaling that the subject performs an action upon themselves or acts in a self-referential matter. It characterized by the prefix. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Can they give an example? You know, yeah, they're not giving examples. I need examples because examples help me learn. Okay. Oh, okay. It's like a self action to be holy, which to sanctify oneself. So it's like you're doing. It's like an action you're doing. Okay, I'm getting it. To be sick, to pretend to be sick. Interesting. So, okay, let me read it again. It's an intensive, reflexive stem, often signaling that the subject performs an action. So, the subject, the person, performs an action upon themselves or act in a self referential manner. So, you're acting upon oneself, pretending to do or to do something. Like to be holy is something that you are doing. Okay. Where it's clicking. Let's actually put this right here. Guys, this is actually exciting. I'm actually pretty excited, pretty stoked. It says, however, Milgram's interpretation is incorrect. For Exodus 21 uses the same verb to express the purchase of the Hebrew debt slave. Here, the significance lies in the verbal expression. The Hittel form of is mostly used in the context of taking possession of a land. Numbers chapter 32, verse 18. Yo, I so wish right now I knew Hebrew, but I'm teaching myself Hebrew today. Let's actually do however same verb. Let's see if that same word kana. Let's see. Let's, side by side. I think it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing right here. It's this one right here. So it is the okay. So kana I know means to buy or to purchase, right? So if you guys are here and you guys just joining in, what we see is that Leviticus 25 and Exodus 21, when people see well, let me first build a foundation. The author brings scholars who say that Exodus 21 is about servitude, right? And they say right after that Leviticus 25 is not about servitude, but about chattel slavery. But this author is showing why they disagree with this. And the reason why they're disagreeing with this, because the same word purchase that they see in Leviticus 25 that they have such a hard time dealing with is also in Exodus 21, the same passage that they said is about debt servitude. So they have to be consistent. And this is why context is very essential and when we're trying to understand things. So I just find it very interesting. So I feel like the author is kind of like building up, building up, building up. I'm surprised I never read this book yet. So this Hebrew word right here is kana, which means to buy or purchase. So just keep this in mind. So I know I've been rereading the same thing, but in my catchphrase, repetition is the mother of all herbs. However, Milgram's interpretation is incorrect. For Exodus 21 uses the verb kana to express the purchase of the Hebrew debt slave. Here, the significance lies in the verbal expression. All right, I don't know the verbal expression, but it looks like a long word. So maybe if we could find a long word, that could probably help us. I'm assuming are around about you. So I'm assuming this one because it's a lot of words. Let's see. Let's look at the front and let's look at the ending. Like again, guys, I don't know Hebrew all that well. I would never claim to know Hebrew. I do know Greek more than I know Hebrew, but let's see. No, they don't look the same as I'm putting them side by side. But I think as I read, context will kind of help me glue things together. The Hithel form, which I just learned actually, of don't know that Hebrew word either. Like again, we're learning. This is how I learned, guys. This is how I learned. Let me just read the paragraph and maybe I could help put pieces together. If you guys new to the chat or if you guys didn't like the stream, like up the stream so we could have that in the algorithm, or even comment down below so we can have the algorithm working. Let's see. Here's the significant lies in a verbal expression. The Hithel form of is mostly used. If you guys don't know what a Hithel form, and you guys just coming in, I just learned that it means like the subject is doing like the action, like it's something that you have to do for oneself. Like to be holy is to sanctify oneself. It's a self action that you have to do. Like to be sick is to pretend to be sick. That's a pretense. And this is the reflexive. The reflexive is something that you're doing yourself. Like to be holy, you have to sanctify oneself as a self action. So this is what we kind of learning. So hey, we're going through this learning journey together, pretty much. So you guys could be equipped and do these things as well. The Hitho form of don't know this word yet, gonna learn it, is mostly used in the context of taking possession of land. So they're trying to show that this is about like taking possession of land. So the word, just the regular tense, the regular verb for purchase, because this is the regular verb for no, they're different. Okay, never mind. So I guess this is another form for it of the word purchase, I'm assuming, means the possession of land. So let's actually look at Numbers chapter 32, verse 18. It could probably help us. Numbers 32, verse